All right, you're watching TVC Breakfast, and on the segment, we are looking at the outcome of the presidential election, but we're trying to enlighten each other as a country what people are saying when it comes to the controversies around whether INEC violated the act by not transmitting electronically. But we're looking at the law. What did the law say about all of these? And we have a senior advocate in Nigeria, or senior advocate of Nigeria, enlightening us in this area, Wahab Shittu. He's here with us. All right. Now, before we went on the break, you were creating enlightenment regarding the issues of candidate condition and culture that Sam asked. Yes. So you've talked about the candidate, yes. You've talked about the pedigree and the character and the track record that he should have, yes. And so on. Now let's go into the condition, which may be the circumstances or all the features or factors that shape each election and make it different from the other.
Yes, I can confirm that the interview that we had offered me the opportunity of getting the perspective of the eminente. So I can talk authoritatively on this. When you talk of a condition, you are looking at the prevailing situation in the country at the time of the election. We are looking at issues that were thrown up, which one way or the other has a way of defining the election. Issues like issues of hunger, issues like tribe, issues like petrol scarcity, unemployment, all things like that we know, including the currency.
The currency swap
and all those
Naira redesign.
Naira redesign and all that. And the culture is who are we as a people? And how do we react, perceive issues? How do people see us? How do we see ourselves? Who are we actually? So all this, like was earlier pointed out, define the outcome of election. Yeah. So not just the candidate. And how all of these factors play out will ultimately affect the outcome of the election.
On this issue of culture, if you travel to some countries, I was privileged to cover the presidential election, 2014 presidential election in South Africa, and when we got to some area, it was like a carnival. You know, it was like a festival. Yes. People were happy. Everybody went out, to vote. You saw the feeling of the people being happy. Yes. It wasn't like anybody was going to war. Now, coming back to Nigeria, we've recorded instances where, especially somewhere in VGC, we understand, and also some places in GRA where people bring out canopies, set music, and then serve drinks for people who were coming to vote, and so on. Creates a feeling of, let us do this thing together and so on. But let's compare the political culture and the behavior of the Nigerian voter from this 1999 up until now. How better off have we become enlightened based on the experiences we've had for every election cycle?
Well, I think, make no mistake about it, there's high level of public consciousness among the people. The people, the Nigerians are, generally, most Nigerians are peace-loving people. When you see exception created in the deployment of violence, you'll be able to situate that narrative in the context of a very few people who want to disrupt the process, who wants to apply, it's not the Nigerian character to be violent. Let me put it that way. Because the Nigerian people, what do they want? They want food on their table, roof over their heads. You understand me? They want good jobs, good schools, quality education.
Hospitals.
All of us are united in the provision of this. You understand me? Yeah. So it is not the Nigerian character to be violent, because we have, even in our traditional system, entrenched values. So that is why the few who want to give us a bad name must be identified and taken out for sanction. Yeah, that is why if this country must progress, there must be a regime of consequences for infractions. That is why it all boils down to the question of law and order. If you get law and order right, the difference between developed economies and our own economy is the issue of law and order. In those economies, and then Nigerians, when they go abroad, what do?
They conform.
They conform. They queue. They do everything. When they come back, they want to. So I think so. The incoming administration must place law and order in the at the center stage. We need an Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice who subscribe to the theory of law and order beyond rhetorics. For instance, I saw recently that, the Supreme Court delivered a judgment and we are busy waiting for directive of who? Of who? Are you waiting for the directive of the president, who is himself subject to law? The Attorney General should be eager to immediately conform. Because we are talking of the Supreme Court, which is the young commander. That's a ground norm. That is the court. Where even senior advocates appear before Supreme Court, you are fidgeting. But these are laws. You don't treat people like that with levity. It's never done. Particularly when we say we are practicing democracy. Because central to the practice of democracy is that practitioners of this institution must be determined to be Democrats. You can't say you have democracy without being ready to be Democrats. You must be, you understand me? And central to democracy are this. One, respect for constitutionalism. Respect for the rule of law. Respect for constitutionalism, respect for the rule of law, respect for fundamental rights, respect for due process, zero tolerance for corruption. These are elementary. They are taken as given in a democracy.
So in a situation where somebody talks about national security, a rule of law supersedes national security.
Okay. Now, when you talk of national security, you are going to another area.
Okay.
You understand me? Right. Because in an attempt to preserve national security, you may keep, to a limited extent, rule of law in abeyance. But we are talking of national security. That is why, for instance, when there is terrorism somewhere, there are counter-terrorism measures designed to take...
the law is not...
Yes.
The law cannot be for the law's sake.
Yeah. You understand me? National security, that's what we are talking about. And that's what the people forget, that the Supreme Court that we talk about is a court of law. It's a court of equity. It's a court of justice. It's a court of public policy. It's a public policy court, too. And all of those considerations, weigh in the outcome of any decision because they are supposed to think. There are people, men and women, who are not thinking of this war. They are thinking of the next generation. They are thinking of their place in history. People of high intellect, high wisdom, high experience. You don't get to that level, and then you hand down a judgment, and somebody somewhere is saying, I'm waiting for a directive. What nonsense. you understand me? And I'm sure, if we want this country to grow, we must stop that kind of psychophancy. For instance, I have a lot of respect for the president of the country. But I'm not expected to hero worship him. There's a distinction between having respect for somebody and then hero worshiping the person in the name of psychophancy.
Now, what do you think will be the major cabinet positions that the president-elect should look at?
Well, if I were in the position to advise...
These positions are key.
Yes, Attorney General of the Federation.
Good.
Attorney General of the Federation is very key. The person who's occupying that position must be a rule of law person. And then the Minister of Information. Because the policies of government will be announced appropriately or otherwise.
Or communicated.
Or communicated by the Minister of Information. The Minister of Finance. The Minister of Finance must be somebody who's knowledgeable about the economic indicators and the variables and how they operate locally and internationally, not just a local person. Somebody who must understand how the international...
The dynamic of international finance.
Yeah!
And economy.
Now, because of the fact that we rely on so much, the Minister of Petroleum must be somebody who understands the industry very well. Minister of Works. Because that person is going to deliver on infrastructure and every other thing. You understand me?
And power.
Yes. The Minister of Interior. Minister of Interior will be somebody who understands the rules, the ground rules, because you are talking that will impact seriously on the security. But you see, my own perspective is that in terms of quality-driven people, all the regions of the country have them. There's no region of the country who has monopoly of quality people. So there must be a balance. Balance. I want to see the president-elect emerge as a Nigerian president, irrespective of who voted for who.
Yeah.
That's how you come out to
become, tent.
To become a statesman.
Yes.
You rise beyond pettiness to assemble a quality-driven, credible team that will deliver.
All right, senior advocates, we must have to wrap it up here, but we thank you so much for the enlightenment that you have given to us, knowing what the law says about what we have discussed, and also the points you have made regarding key areas that the president-elect should look at, because Nigerians are very eager, really eager. In fact, they want a miracle right now to transform the situation. We thank you so much for coming.
It's my pleasure.
Senior Advocate Wahab Shittu. Thank you.
And I must say that you are doing wonderfully.
Thank you.
Wonderfully well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
TVC is rising every day and it will continue to rise.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.